different types of forms. Some are your helicoid, some are your planispiral, some are your straight, some are your slightly coiled, and something like this. So the first one is your orthoceracone. Okay, orthoceracone. Okay, no need to write anything here, just try to understand what I'm trying to teach. All right, so in orthoceracone, here the shell is straight. So till now we have seen different type of shells, different type of examples, your goniatite, your ammonite, nodylite, etc. So they were, they were coiled like this. But when we talk about orthoceracone, there are shells which are straight. I told you, right? There are your shells which are straight. Okay, so they are not coiled. So these are, or you're called your orthoceracones. Have a look, this is an orthoconic shell. Okay, have a look, this is straight. You aren't finding any coiling over here. So this shaded dotted part is your body chamber. Here your animal resides, and this gray part is your phragmocone. All right, so this is straight. The next one is your cetoceracone. Okay, cetoceracone. Okay, what is this cetoceracone? In this, the shell is slightly curved. All right, so at the first you had your shell very straight. That was your orthoceracone, and after that your shell bent slightly or your shell curved slightly. So this is your cetoceracone. Now you can have a look, this is a cetoconic shell. You can see there is slight coiling, or you can say it's slightly curved. All right, so this is your cetoconic shell. Okay, slightly curved. The next one is your gyroceracone. Okay, so in gyroceracone, the shell is loosely coiled. Okay, so there is coiling found over there, but it's not tightly coiled. It's just loosely coiled. All right, so your gyrocone is somewhat like this. Okay, there is a loose coiling over here. Have a look, this is your gyrocone. In this, there is this body chamber. Okay, and then you can find a coiling here near the phragmocone. Okay, so what is this? It's loosely coiled. All right, there's not a tightly packed coiling found. Okay, so this is your gyrocone. So at the first you had a straight shell, then it was slightly bent, and then it was coiled, but it was loosely coiled. All right, then you have tarfeceracones. Okay, so in tarfeceracones, they show complete coiling and the whorls are in contact with each other. So you can have a look here in tarfeceracone. You can see that there is complete coiling. Okay, and the whorls are touching each other. So these are the whorls. Whorls, what are whorls? So the coil shapes are called your whorls. All right, so in this your tarfeceracone, all your whorls are coiled and they are touching each other. Have a look, this is a serpenticone. This is same as your tarfeceracone. You can have a look that it is completely coiled and your whorls are touching each other. All right, then you have your trochoceracone. What is this trochoceracone? This is a shell. It exhibits a helicoid coiling. Okay, so at the beginning I told you there are two types of coiling. One is your planispiral. So when you talk about your planispiral, it's all in the same plane. Okay, so if this is your plane, the coiling is in the same plane. But when you talk about a helicoid coiling, the helicoid coiling is like this. Okay, so the helicoid coiling is like this. So in your trochoceracone, there is a helicoid coiling found, and you can have a look this torticone. Okay, so you can see that the coiling is like this. Okay, so here this is your trochoceracone. Fine. Then you have a lituticone. Okay, lituticone. All right, what is this lituticone? It is also known as your baculiticone. Baculiticone, lituticone or baculiticone. What is happening here? Here the shell, it is partly coiled. Okay, it's partly straight and then it is partly coiled. Have a look, this is your lituticone. Here the shell is partly straight and then at the end of the phragmocone it is partly coiled. All right, so this is your Lituticon. Then again you have another shell form, that is your involute shell form. So what is happening here? Here only the body whorl, okay, I mean here the body chamber, or you can say the body whorl, it covers all your other chambers, or the body whorl covers your phragmocone. Okay, so you can see that here it is named as Nautiluticon. It is involute, involute shell. What is happening here? This is the body chamber and these are your other whorls. Now what is happening here? This body chamber is hiding or covering all the other whorls. Okay, so this is your involute one. Another ones are your Burwick-Cones. What are these Burwick-Cones? They somewhat exhibit a cap-like appearance. Okay, so they look like somewhat a cap. This is your Burwick-Cone. So here in Burwick-Cones, what is happening? They somewhat look like a cap. Have a look. They look somewhat like a cap, and they are named as orthoconic and certoconic. Why? Because orthoconic is straight, so it is a straight cap-like structure, and this is certoconic, so it is a slightly curved cap-like structure. So these are your Burwick-Cones. All right. So with this, we have done the shell forms. All right. Now in this slide, I have termed all the important shell forms with the definitions and the examples. So your Orthoceracon, the shell is straight, example is your Orthoceras. Certoceracon, the shell is slightly curved, example is Certoceras. Gyroceracon, the shell is loosely coiled, example is your Gyroceras. Turficeracon, it shows complete coiling and the whorls are in contact with each other, example is Turficeras. Trochoceracon, shell exhibits helicoid coiling. An example is your Trochoceras. The Lituticon and Bosiliticon, they exhibit partially coiled nature, and examples are your Luteolites and Baculites. So you have your Burwick-Cones, they exhibit a cap-like appearance, and the examples are your Burwiceras. So with this, we have done the shell forms. So guys, the PDF of this lecture is provided in the link which is given in the description below. So with that link, you can download the PDF of this lecture in notes form. So guys, in the next lecture, we'll have a look at